Hello, and welcome back to your marketing podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Hansen. I'm the founder and funnel marketing expert of your marketing team, and I'm excited to be here. This is our third episode so far. The feedback has been really great so far. I'm just going to continue building up our library of podcast episodes. Hi, I'm Sarah Hansen. Welcome back to your marketing podcast. I am the founder and funnel marketing expert of your marketing team, and I'm excited to be here. This is our third episode so far. So I've gotten a lot of great feedback, and I'm just excited to keep growing up our podcast library. Today, I want to talk about a topic that's very hot right now because of the political climate actually that's going on in the US. And I know what you might be thinking, Sarah, this is not a podcast about politics. And that's correct. This is not a podcast about politics. I would never want to go down that route. But this piece of legislation actually directly corresponds with marketing. So a lot of you have probably already heard that the House of Representatives has passed a bill that would effectively ban TikTok in the US if TikTok does not sell the company to another, company or organization by a specific date. Now, when we talk about the reality of this happening, I'm not really sure. I think it's probably a pretty low percentage that it will actually get to the point where TikTok will be banned in the US. However, you still need to be prepared for changes like this. And this is a really good lesson for anyone who uses TikTok as their sole marketing platform for their brand, for their online coaching business or online service business. And maybe you've done really well on there and now you're starting to freak out because holy crap, what are you going to do if your one and only marketing channel evaporates or is taken away from you overnight? So this is why I preach over and over again my full funnel effect method, because it is a multi-channel marketing approach. Multi-channel meaning you use not just one marketing platform, really not just two marketing platforms, but 3 and more marketing platforms to reach your audience, engage with them, warm them up, and convert them to loyal customers and clients. So when you rely solely on one platform like TikTok or any other platform, you have to know that you are building your audience on rented land. And what that means is that you do not own the space where you are engaging with your community and with your clients. Now, that's not to say that it's not a great idea to post on social media platforms. It's a fabulous idea. It's an amazing way to reach other business owners or reach your target audience. It's a great place to bring people into your world. However, you cannot rely on just one of these places and have just one plot of rented land and think that it's always going to go good and dandy, because these social media platforms are just so touchy, so up and down, constantly changing their algorithms, constantly subject to legislation and just the whims of how their country's government is going. And so you're really, going all in on a space that is not a very safe bet. So, one, it's just not a good idea to only be on one platform. So if you're someone who's only on TikTok, or even if you're only on Instagram, I could count many times when Instagram was completely down, and there wasn't like a foreseeable future of it coming back up. Or I'm sure we all remember when our reels used to easily get 10K 50K, 100K views. And now they get, less than 1,000 a lot of the time because of algorithm changes, or when you could just post, graphics and photos and still get great engagement. Now that's pretty obsolete. So we've all experienced when these platforms did us dirty. So if you are someone who's been relying solely on these platforms, you need to start thinking about, okay, what other platforms can I find my ideal client on? And also, where can I direct my audience where I own the information that they see and I have more control over the community in general? So you need to think about using an email list. Right away, you need to be growing your email list. You need to be pushing your audiences from marketing platforms to your email list. This is because there you can, have a lot more control over making sure that the platform doesn't go away, making sure that you can still keep in touch with your audience no matter what. And for example, if you're someone that just uses TikTok, but you've also you've been growing your email list, let's say TikTok does go away, you still have all of this warm audience, these invested audience members on your email list. So you're able to reach them, be like, hey, now that TikTok's gone, you can find me here. Or you can still engage with me on Instagram or Pinterest or anything like that. So first and foremost, growing your email list right away is the most important thing that you can do. Next, when we're thinking about other marketing platforms you want to be on, think about platforms that are less moody. So platforms that, like, when I'm talking about platforms specifically right now, I'm talking about social channels. So platforms that you don't really hear about having a lot of big changes that affect viewership and engagement. So if your audience could also potentially be on LinkedIn, check out a platform like LinkedIn. Pinterest is also a great source of website traffic for your online services, and a lot of people are on Pinterest. You can also think, if you are doing a podcast already, or if you have a lot of video content, thinking about expanding onto YouTube. My guess is if you were a TikTok creator, or if you were an online coach or service provider and you had a lot of success on TikTok, that you already create a lot of video content. So transferring that to, and adjusting the best practices to fit to YouTube, that could be a great platform for you to begin putting a strategy into and begin growing a community on. So obviously, first, the email list. Second is going to be thinking about what other social platforms you can go onto that are less, up in the air all the time on whether or not the engagement's going to be there, or whether or not they're going to exist. And then third, think about creating some sort of private online community on a platform where you can, again, own the audience. So for me, I have created Kajabi communities. It really feels like a private Facebook group, but without being, again, on rented land in Facebook. On Kajabi, obviously, I pay for a membership. And so I have these communities there where I, can still foster that social platform type of feel without being on rented land. Kajabi, again, is a platform that does that, but there's so many other platforms where you might have to pay a fee or a small fee, depending on what the platform is, but you can create some sort of online community, and you can begin promoting this online community to your email list, to your other social platforms, and really get your audience in a place where you own the land and where you have more control over how it's operated, over how people communicate, and over the information that you put out to people. So I know that it's really stressful for some people hearing the news about TikTok. Also, just know that this could happen to any platform at any time. So that's why I really stress the multi-channel marketing strategy, the full funnel effect that I do for my students and my clients, because you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket and take a risk, because you just never know when something so unfortunate is going to happen, like a platform possibly being removed from your country forever. But yeah, those are my 3 tips. Build your email list, diversify your social platforms, specifically on platforms that are less subject to legislation or change or algorithms or anything like that. And then also beginning to form and create and host some sort of private community in a space where you own the land, where you own the content, where there's no algorithm you're messing with, and where you can directly communicate with your target audience. So that's my quick tip for the day. It's a quicker podcast episode, but I thought it was really important to go over these tips and talk about them a bit more. I will be back next week. Please leave a review if you can, or leave any questions or comments, and I will talk to you in next week's episode.